Welcome to today's class on Excel. So we'll be learning Excel for absolute beginners. We're going to be learning how to navigate, format, and calculate in Excel. So even if you've never opened an Excel before, this is a good time for you to learn. So first on our radar, we have why do we want to learn Excel? Why Excel? Because Excel is used by 80% plus over 80% of professionals. You need it in the accounting sector, your business sector, the educational sector. Basically, Excel is the real deal now once it comes to having a computer knowledge. And then Excel is also the foundation of data analysis. It also helps you to organize, calculate, and visualize data. So over here, we have the Excel interface, we have the workbook, which is multiple sheets, we have the worksheet, and we have the grid, rows, and column, which I'll be showing us now. So here now is your worksheet. So we have sheet one here, and then if you click on this plus sign, we have sheet two. We click here, we have sheet three. So this combination of your sheet one, sheet two, and sheet three is a workbook. But your worksheet is basically just this one sheet that has to do with your rows and column. So you can look at your worksheet as your pages and then your workbook as your exercise book. So that is for worksheets and for workbook. So here we have the ribbon and then we have the formula bar. So here that's the ribbon. This is the command here. So we can easily so a ribbon in Excel is the toolbar at the top of this Excel window. Let me show us. Here where we have our file, home, insert, the page layout, the formulas, the data, the review, the view, and the developer. These are what our toolbars are. So in each of the tab contains groups, different things that we need to know. But in short definition, we say that a ribbon command simply refers to any button or icon or tool that you can click on the ribbon to perform an action. So take for instance, this is home, right? We are in home currently. And so for here that is home, we can see cut, we can see copy, we can see format. So I can enter a text here. Let's say I enter a text here and I want to copy this to another column. So I can just highlight on it and then click copy and then I'll go to here, see, and then I'll click paste. So if you don't want to use the shortcut, we still go over to the shortcut. But now let's learn the basics of the basics. Then if you want to cut, so cut is to copy and remove it from that place. So I can highlight this again and then click on cut and then take it to this next place, click on this next empty cell and click on paste, and then it moves from 2 to 4. So and the list goes on and on. Here we'll see once you want to change your font. So let's say this is highlighted on V here and I want to change this font to, let's see the fonts we have, and then we can choose. So any font of my choice. As I'm moving over it, you can see that it's changing to the design. So font in layman's understanding just simply our handwriting. So whatever writing you want it to appear as, you can just change it to that. So let's say I leave it as this. So let's say we go with this and I want to increase it. So here I can increase it to any size of my choice, right? Here. And then here I can make it bold. This is bold. You can either use Ctrl B or you click here at on italics to bend. So I can either use Ctrl plus I. Here is to underline. And then over here we'll have all this now is just still the font table where we have our borders. So we want to create a table. So let me say I highlight this and then I'll click here and I'll say all borders. I want all of them to be in a box. So this is here. So previously without this, right, if these lines are actually very invisible when you want to send a work, But for now you're entering a work, it looks visible, but they're very tiny. And if you're sending out your work or you want to print something, these lines, the horizontal and the vertical lines, will not show. So let me show us something. So before adding the borders, I have this, and let's practice something. Control P. So Control P here. So this is a preview of the work that I want to print. You can see now that the lines are not here. They are actually invisible. They now look like a plain sheet. But if we go back, and here I add borders to this place, right? So this is it. So Control P to print. So now we can see a preview of what we want to print. The lines are there already. So those borders help you to put in your work in tabular form. Then here we have this A is to increase the font size. If we don't want to use the number, here is to reduce the font size. And then this is a fill color. The one that has a cup, like an overflowing cup, is a fill color. What it does is that it fills in the color of the box. So let's say here I want this place, have you seen yellow? So but if I want to color the text, I will use this one, the A that has the red underneath it. So I can just click here and say let the text color be red. So the fill color is to color in the cell space, and then the text color, this A, is to color the text. It's also called known as a font color. And then over to our alignment table. This alignment table, here aligns to the top, here aligns to the middle, here aligns to the this is the bottom alignment, and then this is the orientation that takes you to the 41 angle, anti-clockwise, 90 angle, and then all and all. And here is left align. So let's practice. So this none, I'll remove it on italics, and then I would do this is left aligned, here right aligned, center rather, this is center, it aligns to the center, and then this aligns to where? This aligns to the left, right, we are right, alright, aligns to the right rather. And then this here is to decrease your your index. Let's say you just want to adjust it a little, so let's do this. Let's say I write V and I have this. So let's see if it's going to work on this. This is just to adjust it a little. Just shift till where I want, right? And then this is to wrap a text. So let's say for A here, I write someone's full name. So let me use mine. So, and now you can see that, oh, it exceeded the cell. And now I don't want to adjust this because I can easily move this to this place. It will become bigger, but I don't want it. I actually like this space, but at the same time I want this text to be under A. So what do? I will, this is it now. I'll click on this text, right? It's showing Ezevichi Chamaka, right? But I want it to be under A, so I'll click on wrap text, and then this is what we have here. So this is to wrap your text. And then to merge and center is let's say you write a name. So this name now is a Chamaka Victory. I want it to be at the center of A, B, and C. So first I will increase this row to this place, increase this to, increase this to. So let's say this is the data concerning Eze Victory, right? And I want it to be her name to be at the center. So I'll just highlight from here to C, and then click merge and center. It takes the name to the middle, and I can also do this merge across. It just clears the whole lines. And then I can also say merge cells. I can also say unmerge, and then it goes back to the normal stuff. So here we have the general. So let's go back to our slide and see what we have. Oh, this is still on ribbon. So here we have the general where we have our dollar sign. So let's say we enter a number here, this 45,000. So but we don't know what currency it sees in, so we can just say 45,000. We change it to naira. You can click on the drop down arrow here and you see lots of currency, and you change to it. This is for percentage, this is for a comma, and let's say now I add a comma. Okay, let's say there's a comma here and I don't want the two decimal places, right? So I can just highlight this. The arrow pointing towards the left is to increase your decimal. The one pointing towards the right is to reduce it. So let's say I want to increase it. So let's say I want three decimal places. Increase it. So I want to reduce it. I will reduce it, or till I don't want, I just want a whole number, and that is it. And here you can change whatever you're typing here to be. You see initially here is on general, right? This general is telling us that anything could be entered. It doesn't have any specific format. But this one is customized already because of the currency. But I can add this now. Let's see what it tells us it is. It's still on general. So but if I change it to number, it has those decimal places, the two decimal place. So you have different formats you can change for your accounting, your short date, long date, set your time, your percentage, your fraction, scientific, and more number format. And over here we have our conditional formatting that helps you to highlight sales rules. We'll get to that as we advance and then go on. Then this is to insert a column, delete a column, auto sum. When we get to calculation, then the fill, and then sort and filter. The list goes on and on, and these are still under ribbon to ribbon bar. And then here we have insert. You want to add insert a picture, pivot table, and a chart. The rest goes on and on. Page layout here. Then the formulas. When we get to formulas, we understand it better. And then this is data. This is for data here, and this is for review. This is for review. This is for view. This is for developer. So and then the list goes on and on here. So let's the next we have on our slide. So working with cells, cells are identified by letters and numbers. So we have the A1 and we have the B2. So we have the A1, we have the B2, and then we'll look at a cell and see how to identify cells in Excel. So to enter, we also use cells. While working with cells, we enter text, numbers, or formulas. We can also use the autofill to copy patterns. We can use Ctrl Z to undo. So let's see how we do it. First, we are going to identify a cell. So now let's say we are looking for Eze Chiamaka Victory, and we're like, what is her cell address? On what cell address can we find her name? So this is on A1. Why is it A1? Here, the text, which is this row, is on A, the column is on 1. So we would say that it is on A1. We identify it by the text and then the number, the text and the number. $45,000 is on, the cell address is B2, is under B and is in column 2. Row B, column 2. V is in A4, is in row A, column 4. That is how to identify a cell address. And just like what we've done, we've been able to enter a name, we've been able to enter a figure, we've also been able to learn how to enter a formula, and that is what we do with cells here. So here that we have a name, this tiny little box is called a cell. So a cell address is identified by the alphabet and the number. So since it's under the alphabet of A, is in under row A and is in column 2, the numbering here is 1. So we'll say that the cell address of Victory is in A1. That is how to identify a cell address. So going back to our slide, let's see what we have here. The fifth slide, we have relative A1 changes when they copy absolute, um the dollar sign, the absolute formula rather, A1 stays fixed. We'll get to this when we start practicing formulas. I will still highlight this. Then here, formatting data, which is what we've done earlier when we have the bold, the borders, the colors, format numbers, currency, date, percentage, format printer, copy styles, which is what we did here. Remember, so when I want to make Eze Victory Chamaka a bold text, I will highlight on it and click on B here, and it makes it bold. We did it earlier. I can also undo this by clicking Ctrl Z to undo the initial command I gave, and then I can click Ctrl B. Okay, I already deleted it, so now I'm back. So I'll just highlight and then Control B. It becomes a bold text. And remember how we said we can color a text? We said that the fill color is for you to paint in the cell itself, which is this. So we can click on the drop down arrow, and let's go with purple this time. And then for text color, let's go with orange. So this is how to fill in. This is the formatting. Then the borders is what we did earlier, highlighting the particular place you want. So let's say I want to work with A to K and then down to the number 20, right? So I'll hold on this, drag here. If you're using a mouse, if you're not using a mouse, you left click, hold on the left click button rather, and then drag down to 20, and then go to these borders and then click, you see all borders. Here we have if I don't want the lines, no borders at all, it becomes a plain one. If I want only the outside to be a tick box, the same way. If I just want the right side to be highlighted, to be in that table format, I will do that way. So once you click on these borders, you can design and customize your lines or your tabular format in any way or in any of your choices that you like. So let's see this. So now we're going to have a mini project where we're going to create a table, date, item, amount, and category. So let's see. So let's do this little mini project together. So we're going to use sheet 2 for it now, a plain one that we've not done anything. So remember, we said this mini project includes date, the time, the item, the amount, and the category. So let's do this way. So this is the date. So let's use this date, item, amount, then this, right? So now I'll just extend this a little. So now we can just say we can create this. Okay, now remember we are formatting this cell. So because we talked about entering date, so I can say today is 20th. Let's use 20th October 2025. So let's see. So this is the format of the date. So now you have 20th October 2025. So let's say the item bought, let's say a comb, amount it was purchased 500. So this under accessories, right? And then the list goes on and on. So we're just using this for this one. So now this is the text color, this is the text rather. First thing, we're going to create a table for this. So we're going to add it in borders. So let's say we highlight and then click on borders. This is it. So now I can decide for this table, right? I'll just take my cursor to this edge. Once this cross sign appears, I'll drag down. So that way this table is filled now. But now instead of the date changing, it is the year changing. So that means we did not get it correctly. The table format was not okay. So we can decide to format this table, this the date format rather. So we'll click on this and then go to general, and we go to date. See the way date is. So we're going to use short date. This is short date, and let's see how it's going to appear. So now let's say we change this. It's still changing by the year. So let's say we do 2025 rather, 10th, 20th. So it changed. So let's see what will change here. So now the dates are changing. That's to tell you that this is 20th October, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So the simple math we did was format the table to let you know that we are entering dates here, right? For here that we've entered dates, we can't go back to enter text or anything that has to do with amount. So I said, instead of us repeating the date one after the other, you take your cursor to this edge. Once this cross sign appears, drag it down to this place. So let's say we have comb, and then what's the next thing we got? We have a wristwatch. We have glasses, glasses, and then we have what else should we? Let's say we got a key holder. So now we're going to extend this. So we got this for 8,200. We got this for 20k, 20,000 naira rather. Key holder, let's say we got it for 4,500. So the this noun is also part of accessories. Glasses, we're also going to say it's part of accessories. Key holder, let's just place it anywhere. Let's just repeat accessories again. So but the main thing is that we want to understand how to format our table. So now first thing, remember when we did alignment, right? These lines, these amounts are right aligned, but for me I always want my text to be center aligned. So I can just click on this and go to center align and click on, then it comes to the center. I can do same for item, and I can at the same time I can do it for all, for this table at the same time. I'll just click on center align and everything goes to the center, and then this is it. So now to add amount, to add a currency, so let's say I'm using, this is in dollars, I'll highlight everything here and click on dollars here. So instead of doing one after the other, at the same time I can decide to click on this row now and then click on dollar sign. What this entails, or what this means, is that even if I come here and add like 70,000, it is still going to be in dollars, so it won't change. But if I just assuming I want this place to be in naira, like the next figure will be in naira, that means I will remove this rule that says everything in this row should be in dollars. I'll just highlight the amount, the number of amounts that I want them to be in dollar sign, and then click on dollar sign, and they are there. Remember we said we can reduce the decimal places or we can remove it entirely if we don't want it, and this is by going to decrease decimal and we'll remove it here. So let's say we want to highlight the color here, as this is our subhead, so we want it to be in a fill color. So we'll just highlight date, item, amount, category, and go to fill color, and then we'll choose, let's say let's go with green, and then we can make the text a bold one. At the same time we can decide to change this font. Remember we talked about font, so I can go here and then look for a particular font of my choice and then choose. So let's say, what font are we going to use here? So let's say we use this one. So this is it, and I can say at the same time I can decide to increase the size here or increase it with the numbers. I can say 16, and then go back here and reduce it. So click on it, it comes down to the size of your choice, and then this is it for creating a table. So we've done our mini project together. So let's see our recap. We saw what an Excel layout looks like. We saw how to enter data. We saw basic formulas, which is just the borders, the fill color, the text color, changing of your font, increasing your font size, and we start to do our expense track project. And then that is that. So what is next? Our next video will be on mastering Excel formulas and functions. So stay tuned, do like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and see how we go about it. Thank you.